Pokemon Legends ZA was released a month ago, and with it we saw the return of Mega Evolutions. In this video, we're going to rank the bottom 10 Mega Evolutions, meaning the worst 10 in my opinion. If your favorite Pokemon's on this list and you're offended, tough. But yeah, this is my opinion, don't take it too seriously, and yeah, it's just a fun video. Let's get into the list. Starting off number 10 is Mega Electros. They really dove into the Mega Wind Kite. He's got the plus and minus arms, and it's just kind of boring. It just looks like they slapped something on Electros. They slapped those little two, I guess his twins on the side, twin turbo engine. He looks like a plane, I guess, and it's just boring. He's still mono electric, which is also boring. He might keep the levitate ability when Champions comes out. It'll be fine, I guess. And I don't see Mega Electros seeing much competitive success. Maybe it gets a broken ability and I'm just wrong, but you're only weak to ground, and if you keep levitate, you have no weaknesses, but you really don't have any resistances. So you get a decent amount of attack and special attack, which sounds good on paper, but it's not that great. You're investing a lot of points into an attack stat you're not going to use. So you start with base 115 attack and move to 145. So that's a 30 plus points. And then your special attack is at 105. That also goes up 30 to 135. So you've wasted essentially 30 of your 100 base stat points when you Mega Evolve. And so Electros gets a bit faster, which I think hurts it. It starts at base 50 speed and moves to 80 speed, so it won't work that well in Trick Room. It gets a decent amount of bulk. The defense stays the same. And, with all Mega Pokemon, HP stays the same. And Electros wasn't that bulky to begin with. 90 special defense is 10 plus, and it just feels like they wasted a lot of its stat points, and I don't think Electros is going to be that good competitively. But thematically, I just think it's really boring, and it's number 10 on our list. Number 9 on our list is Mega Dragalge. I don't hate Dragalge. I think it's cool. It's better than base form, obviously, but thematically, I don't think it's better. I like regular Dragalge and how it looks like a seahorse. This is just a big mess. I'm not entirely sure what they're going for. I'm sure I'm missing a reference of some sort, but it feels like a messy design. Poison Dragon is a good typing, however. You lose your fairy weakness, and poison is super effective against fairy, so that's a good thing. You have a decent amount of resistances as well. You resist fire, water, electric, grass, 4 times resistance to grass, by the way. Fighting, poison, and bug with decent resistances, and you're only weak to ice, dragon, psychic, and ground. Ice, dragon, and ground are common offensive types, so those aren't great weaknesses, but it's not terrible. I really like how slow Dragalge is. 44 speed means it can work in Trick Room. Really high 163 special defense. It's kind of lacking in the HP department, only 65 HP. And then 105 defense isn't terrible. So it's a Pokemon, decent special attack at 132. It's not weak. So I could see it having some competitive success, but from a design standpoint, it's just really not my favorite. Number 8 on the list is the flying luchador himself, Hawlucha. Fighting flying isn't a terrible offensive type, so you can hit the steel and rock types that flying resists, and flying can hit the psychic and fairy types that resist fighting for neutral damage, at least. Defensively, not so great. You're weak to flying, psychic, electric, ice, and fairy. You have an immunity to ground, and you resist fighting, grass, dark, and bug, but the typing, it leaves a bit to be desired. The stat distribution is what makes Mega Hawlucha. So it starts with base 118 speed, and it doesn't gain any, which is great. It doesn't necessarily need it. It's already really fast. It gains stats in all of the important aspects. So special attack and speed don't move, which is perfect. Everything is invested in defense, special defense, and attack. So Hawlucha goes from 92 attack to 137 attack. It's going to hit like a truck. Defense from 75 to 100. Special defense from 63 to 93. And with a base 78 HP, it's decently bulky for what it's trying to be. So a really good attacker. It's not a glass cannon, it's just a cannon, and I think Hawlucha's going to be good. However, I don't like how it looks. I would have thought it'd be a bit bigger. It just looks like you put a mask on regular Hawlucha. You put a hat on a hat, and it's not my favorite. He's got a little loincloth thing. The golden mask is cool. I like what they're going for. I just don't think it was executed great. And yeah, just Halucha's not my favorite. Next on our list is the firefighter himself, Mega Embor. The biggest thing I have against this Mega is the design. I don't like it whatsoever. He looks just like a big teapot. I don't know. The fire staff, it's whatever. The stats I think are rather interesting. So he starts at 65 special defense and goes to 110, which is a big boost. His physical attack is boosted to 148, which is really good, and he's starting with a base 110 HP. So he's going to be a bulky attacker, and fighting fire is good offensively. You resist fire, grass, ice, bug, dark, steel, which is okay. And you're weak to water, flying, psychic, and ground, which isn't great in my opinion. The biggest problem I have with Embor stat-wise is he gains 10 speed. So he was already at this low middling speed at 65. I wish he would have lost 10 speed instead of gained 10 speed, because then he'd function in Trick Room a whole lot better. But now he's at this awkward middling speed stat where you're not going to outspeed anything naturally, and you're too fast to work in Trick Room, and I think that's really going to hurt Embor in the long run competitively. But the reason I've got him on this list, he just looks just kind of ugly, dude. I don't really like it. They're going for like a staff samurai guy. I don't know, dude. But it's not for me. Yeah. Coming in at number 6 is Mega Barbarical. It's interesting that it loses the water typing upon Mega Evolution. Doesn't thematically make sense to me, but hey, whatever. Rock fighting is an okay typing. You resist normal, fire, poison, dark, rock, and bug, but you have a plethora of weaknesses with water, grass, fighting ground, fairy, steel, and psychic. So not a great typing in my opinion. The stats are pretty solid. You have 140 base attack, 130 defense, 106 special defense, and then 88 speed is that middling speed. I don't like it. I don't think it's going to be that good competitively. Thematically, it looks like a biblical angel, I guess. I don't love the way it looks. I don't love the typing. I don't love the stats. It's just, I don't hate it. I think it's a very creative design, but I wish they did something different. It feels like they could have done something better. This is just a very forgettable Mega Evolution. Unless it gets a really good ability, is this anyone's favorite Mega? Is this anyone's favorite Pokemon? Coming in at number 5 is the Flying Fairy Clefable. I don't like how it looks. The hat on top. I like the wings. I like the butterfly thing they're going for, but they made it look kind of strange to me. I think it could have been a whole lot cuter. I think it's just kind of weird looking, but it's not terrible. The design isn't terrible. What I don't like is the stat distribution. So it gains 10 speed. It gains 10 attack. So right off the bat, we're basically wasting stat points. It gains a lot of special attack, which I don't think is good for Clefable. It gets to 135 special attack when Clefable really just wants to be a support Pokemon. If you know anything about competitive, you know that Clefairy has actually seen a decent amount of competitive success with Friend Guard and Follow Me, Helping Hand. And they're trying to make Clefable a bulky special attacker, and I'm not here for it. I really think if they invested heavily in defense and just made it a really unkillable wall, maybe gave it Friend Guard and Champions, it would go really crazy. But I can still see it working as a support Pokemon that can do damage. Like I could see a Moonblast going, just tearing something up. But I think it would have been better if it was just purely defense. Not much to say about this mon. It's middle of the pack on this list. Rather boring. I feel like they could have done a bit better job design and like the stats distribution. But you know, next on our list is Patrick Star, aka Mega Starmie. Water Psychic's a decent type. You resist fire, water, ice, fighting, psychic, and steel. And you're weak to electric, grass, ghost, bug, and dark. So not terrible typing. The problem in this one is purely design. I mean, just look at it, dude. It's walking, and I don't like that. I believe it's confirmed that Starmie receives the huge power ability because it gets more than 100 base stat total added, and Mons like Metacham received the extra stat points because it has pure power, so it just got the extra stat points in its attack in Legends ZA because there's no abilities in ZA, which I think is interesting. I think the stat distribution was very well done. It gets more bulky on the special and physical side. It gets faster. It hits harder, and it's just what you want out of your stat distribution. But the design is just it's Patrick Star if he was purple and he was a Pokemon. It looks, remember that episode of SpongeBob where Patrick has the tights on? Yeah, it's not for me. It's really goofy. I like a goofy design, but this is too goofy, man. It's too much. Breaking into our top three is Mega Pyroar. We gave Halucha trash for being a hat on a hat. This is a hat on a hat. This is a mane on a mane. I get what they're going for with the fire symbol on his head, but it just looks incredibly goofy. Pyroar, in my opinion, looked goofy before, and now it's just goofy squared. I don't like it. The stat distribution doesn't help either. It started at 507 base stat total and moved to 607, so it was on par with a pseudo legendary. But like the distribution is awful. The special attack starts at 109 and moves to 129. Not terrible. Lose 20 of those to its poultry attack. It goes from 68 to 88. And the defenses, they're not great either. So you're not that bulky. You don't hit that hard. You're decently fast. You hit a little hard. I'll give you a 129 isn't nothing to sneeze at. But like if you're using your Mega Stone on this guy, I feel like you're wasting your time, honestly. Fire normal is nothing to write home about either. You're weak to ground, fighting, water, rock. Not great. And then you resist fire, grass, ice, steel, fairy, bug, and you have an immunity to ghost, which is nice. But it's just, I feel like there's better fire types, better mega fire types. Just really, unless it receives a really good ability, maybe solar power or something, I don't think Pyroar is going to receive that much use. Coming in at number 2 might be a bit of a shock to some people, and that's Mega Chestnut. One of my least favorites, obviously, but man, if you saw my What's to Expect from Legends ZA video, you'd see that I wasn't very high on Mega Chestnut, and that stands up. The lollipop he holds, he looks like a lollipop, man. It's a weapon, I guess. I'm not familiar with like martial arts or like weapons or anything, but he's holding a stop sign. Let's keep it a buck. He's holding a stop sign. Grass fighting isn't a great typing, honestly. You're 4 times weak to flying. You're weak to fire, psychic, ice, and fairy. You got some decent resist in water, electric, grass, ground, rock, and dark. But that 4 times weakness to flying, the fairy weakness, the fire and ice weakness, I feel like it's just going to be too much for Mega Chestnut to overcome. The stats, however, are really good. So off the bat, he has a middling speed stat of 64. He loses 20 speed, which is a really good thing. I think he's going to function in Trick Room very well. Base 172 defense is really good because he has that fighting type. Body press will have stab. It's going to hit really hard. 137 attack, decent as well. They didn't waste any stat points in special attack. It stays at 74. 115 special defense, so he's rather bulky. 88 HP isn't terrible. Really good Pokemon in the stat department. Just purely thematic, I really don't like Mega Chestnut. It feels very busy. I don't like everything he's got going on. The crown, the cape, the shields, the lollipop, the spikes. It feels like you asked an 8-year-old to just design whatever, and this is what they came up with. It's too colorful. It's supposed to be this big threatening beast that's like a really defensive wall. And like competitively, I could see a future where Mega Chestnut's really good, but thematically, man, I just do not like Mega Chestnut. Coming in at number 1 is Mega Feraligatr. Off the bat, look at the top of his head. Just look at it. Whenever he attacks, it comes down, and it's a cute little Totodile like reference. He looks like a really big Totodile, which is cute, but I wish it stayed down. Right now, he looks like he's just wearing a hoodie that's just up, and it just looks terrible. He's got a toilet lid. It looks like you can pee on him. Mega Feraligatr is a toilet, and I'm not going to stand for it. So if it looked better, I might use it, but then the stats, they let you down. So Mega Feraligatr has base 78 speed, and it starts with 78 speed. Why didn't they invest in its speed, or at least decrease its speed, make it slow? It's got a toilet on its head, make it slow. They didn't do anything with the speed, and that's really unfortunate because Feraligatr has a very middling speed stat. They did juice him up with the attack stat, putting 55 of its possible 100 points into its attack. It put a decent amount into its defense, 25, and a little bit into its 10 into its special defense. So it's like decently bulky on the physical side. It's okay bulky on the special side, but this middling speed stat lets it down severely. It gains the dragon typing, which is really good. You lose your electric and grass weakness for a dragon and fairy weakness, but it's a really good defensive and offensive type. You're not weak to much, you hit most for neutral. But if it had any type of speed adjustment, negative or positive, Feraligatr would have been just a better Pokemon. The stats let it down, the design lets it down, the typing is there, but man, I could not take myself seriously using a toilet seat for a Pokemon. And I chose Feraligatr as my starter. I didn't look up the starters before I played, and I was like, oh, Feraligatr, I'm sure that'll be fun to play with. And I got all the way to the point where you receive your first Megastone, and it's the Feraligatr, right? And I was just disappointed to see the toilet on its head, dude. It's a toilet. And yeah, that's the top 10 worst Mega Evolutions in Legends ZA.